Aisha had always been an outsider in her own home. Ever since her father, Chief Ahmadi, remarried, her life had turned into a relentless nightmare. Madam Zainab, his new wife, ruled the household with an iron fist, and her daughter, Farida, followed in her footsteps. They treated Aisha as nothing more than a servant, someone to do their will while they flaunted their wealth and status. "You will not sit at my table like a queen when you came from the gutters," Madam Zainab sneered one evening as Aisha timidly tried to take a seat at the dinner table. "But, Mama, she is part of this family," Chief Ahmadi said weakly, his voice barely above a whisper. Zainab shot him a sharp glare. "Then act like a man and put her in her place. Or should I remind you of what I did to secure your business deals?" Chief Ahmadi fell silent, eyes dropping to his plate. He was powerful outside, feared by many, yet within the walls of his own home, he was a mere shadow. He had long surrendered to Zainab's dominance, letting her run the household as she pleased. Aisha, her heart heavy, bowed her head and picked up her plate, carrying it to the kitchen to eat alone as usual. Farida, who had been watching with amusement, smirked. "You should be grateful, stepsister," she taunted. "Some people don't even get scraps." It wasn't just words. Zainab and Farida made sure Aisha suffered. They forced her to wash their clothes, cook their meals, and clean the mansion, all while dressing her in rags unfit for even a housemaid. If she protested, Zainab would slap her across the face, her rings biting into Aisha's skin. One evening, Aisha found a beautiful blue dress in her mother's old trunk and dared to wear it. As soon as Farida saw her, she let out a laugh so cruel it sent shivers down Aisha's spine. "You think you can dress like me?" she mocked. "What a joke!" Before Aisha could react, Farida grabbed a pot of hot tea and poured it all over the dress, scalding Aisha's skin in the process. Aisha cried out in pain, but Farida only stepped back, feigning innocence. "Oops," she said with a fake pout. "You should be more careful, sister." Chief Ahmadi witnessed it all, but as always said nothing. He turned away, pretending not to see, too much of a coward to confront the monster he had married. When the proposal from the Bakari family came, Farida was furious to learn that her suitor was an outcast. "Me? Marry a beggar? Over my dead body," she shouted. But Madam Zainab, ever the schemer, saw an opportunity. "Then we shall make Aisha take your place," she said with a sly grin. Farida's eyes gleamed with mischief, but she will never agree. "She will," Zainab assured her. "Her mother is sick and she is desperate. We'll use that against her." The next day they summoned Aisha. "We have a deal for you," Zainab said. "Marry Jidenna, and we will pay for your mother's medical bills." Aisha hesitated. She knew this wasn't an act of kindness. They were simply discarding her like trash. But when she thought of her mother's weak, frail body, she swallowed her pride. "I will do it," she agreed, her voice shaking. Farida smirked, pleased with herself. She was certain she had condemned Aisha to a life of misery. Months passed and whispers of Jidenna's true identity spread like wildfire. The outcast was, in fact, the heir to an even greater fortune than the Ahmadis had ever imagined. When the truth reached the Ahmadi household, Zainab collapsed into a chair, her face drained of color. Farida, in sheer panic, stormed into her mother's room. "We need to fix this," she screamed. "That fool took my place!" Zainab's mind worked frantically. You must seduce him, make him regret marrying her. Determined, Farida set out to reclaim what she had so foolishly thrown away. She arrived at Jidenna's grand estate dressed in the finest silk, her beauty accentuated with gold jewelry. When Aisha saw her at the gates, she raised an eyebrow. "Farida, what are you doing here?" Farida smiled sweetly. "Oh, sister, I just wanted to see how you're doing. I miss you." Aisha knew better. Miss me? Or regret throwing me to the beggar you so despised? Farida's face darkened, but she forced a laugh. "Come on, Aisha. You know we were just playing around. I am your sister. Surely you wouldn't deny me a chance to connect with my brother-in-law?" At that moment, Jidenna stepped out, his presence commanding. He looked at Farida with cold eyes, seeing through her pretense instantly. "You threw me away like trash, Farida," he said calmly. "Now you want me back?" Farida's confidence wavered. "I didn't." Jidenna took Aisha's hand, but she did, and despite everything, she stood by me. I will never betray her for someone like you. Farida's mask crumbled. She had lost. Back at the Ahmadi household, Madame Zainab was consumed with rage. You had everything and you threw it away, she yelled at Farida. Farida, defeated, slumped in her chair. I thought I was ruining her life, she muttered, staring at her reflection in the mirror. I never knew I was ruining my own. Meanwhile, Aisha stood on the balcony of her new home, watching the stars. For the first time in her life, she felt safe, loved, and free. Justice had found its way to her at last. Please subscribe, like, and share our content.